Hello everybody, it's Kat the Bat, and the camera is in reverse today. I decided to make a video of some work that I've done and do like a sketch tour, painting, drawing, some work that I've done that I'm kind of proud of from this past year. And I think even some of it's from 2020, but let's dig right in. So these are some postcards. I have a big, huge stack of them, and I'm really excited to have this many pieces of work to show y'all. This is something I did recently. And so what I do is I put blue tape, painter's tape on, I tape it to my table, and then I paint. And then I take the tape off at the end, so you get these nice crisp lines, and the tape's not as strong as mailing tape, and you can probably even use masking tape, but yeah, and there's different sizes, and you can do different things, cut the tape into different shapes and create some really cool designs with tape. I've done that before. I actually did that in a drawing class that I took at the junior college here in the town that I live in, community that I live in. So tape's really awesome. I love using it. And yeah, I've created all of these postcards using tape. So these are just some vines that I painted. Most of these also are watercolor. This one is straight watercolor. I didn't sketch anything. I just went straight to watercolor. And like I've said in my other videos, you can to get the best results with watercolor, you go from light to dark. So you do all your light colors first, and you save the negative space that you want to be the lightest. And then, and then you paint from light to dark. And so I went in after and I did all of these lines to make the leaves look more dimensional. So this one I did recently too, and I really like this one. I just like the colors that I used. And what I did here is I actually used regular acrylic paint and a toothbrush, and I just flicked the toothbrush to create this like white splattered effect. And I think I used a pen here. Sometimes I'll use this India ink. Actually, I don't think it's called India ink. I think it's called Sumi ink. This particular ink you can get at your local art supply store. And yeah, Black Sumi ink is what this is called. Yeah, and so sometimes I like to use that, but in this case I just used a marker and filled in the fingers with the word true. I just really like it. And so for this one, I've had these cut out squares with this really cool paper that I've had for a while, and I tried to just like see what this white jelly pen would do, and I don't know, I'm not really impressed with these white pens. It's really difficult to get white to show up, and I think I just need to practice, and I know that there's a way to do it. I'm just not really skilled in that area. And so I was just experimenting, and it says Unity, experimenting with how I could do some calligraphy, and I need practice on there too, but I think this came out pretty good. I think it's pretty. And so this is it could probably be the Buddha's eyes if you wanted it to be, or just anybody's eyes without a face. I did a really cool video with a song that I liked called Eyes Without a Face. I played it in the background, and I think here I did use that Black Sumi ink, and I like the way it comes out because it's really like you can actually use water just like watercolor to dilute the Sumi ink and make different grays. You can go from light to dark on the grayscale and make some pretty cool things with Sumi ink too as well. This one's really cool. I did the same thing where I didn't even sketch this. I just went in with different colors, and I didn't use that much dimension here, but I went in with some neon pink acrylic paint and just splattered it on there. I really love mixing more neutral colors with neons or like bright colors. I think that's pretty cool. it causes a really cool like effect on your eye. It draws you to it, I guess. I don't know. And then this one's pretty random. This is another one I didn't sketch anything beforehand, so it came out pretty random. And then again, I used the Sumi ink for this, so it's really, really good practice to use Sumi ink in a brush and just try to like see this is with water added, so it came out more gray here. But yeah, I love drawing smoke and waves and scales and eyes and whatever else I can think of. And here's another dimensional one. I really like this one because it has like the lighter color. And I just, you know, when I do work like this, it's kind of just my mindless meditation kind of artwork where I just go in and I don't sketch anything and I just can go off, you know. This one, I think I probably worked on it for about an hour because there's all kinds of different shapes and dimensions and shades of the color to where I just brush off the pen and go nuts. So it's all about the journey with these ones. It doesn't really like have a, you know, sort of, it doesn't really have like a point, like there's no story behind it, but you know, it's just the journey, about the journey with these ones. Same with this one. I just put a sticker on there. There was a negative space right here, so I just put a sticker, but I really love these colors and I love how layered this one was. And sometimes I'll use like the color when it's still wet and draw lines or dots. And this one reminds me kind of like the inside of a human body, like what it would look like. And this one's pretty cool. I'm not sure if I sketched this first or not. I think maybe I did, but I used a really, really thin pen. Like it's like 0.0025 or something like that. And so you can get these really cool lines when you use pens like that. I just really like experimenting with that. This one's really old. I did this one during the pandemic, when the pandemic first started, and I had this gold paint laying around and I just was like playing with different. This is when I first started doing these. This is one of the first ones I did. And here's a mouth. I really like doing random parts of the face. Maybe it's because I'm not really good at faces yet, but I really like focusing on one area of the face and just like leaving the rest to your imagination. This is another one that I left a lot of negative space, but it again is layered with all kinds of different cool colors. And this one actually is cool colors, like so greens and purples and blues. And then here's an example of the tape. Having fun with tape and just putting it so it says LA, because I love LA, and I did some colors. This is actually all acrylic. This is not watercolor. This is acrylic and black Sumi ink. And here's another one that I just used a bunch of bright colors, primary colors, and green, and then I just splattered white on there. I did another one of these like this, and I sent it to a friend in Florida, and it got lost in the mail. So yeah, and then I sent it in a bubble wrap because I have sent these before and they just disappear or they get stolen, or someone probably thinks it looks good and they steal it. Not that my art, I'm saying anything about my art, but if I saw a postcard like this in the mail, I'd probably think it's kind of cool. So I don't know if someone stole it or it got lost, but let's try to think the best out of people, and maybe it just got lost. Here's a peach. I love doing still lifes like this, and yeah, so it's a little, and so I left the negative space here. You can see how I left the negative space, and I didn't really like the color I chose here, but whatevs, it's cool. And I don't know if you can hear it, but I have squirrels jumping all over my roof right now. And so this one, I spent a lot of time on this one. And yeah, Frida Kahlo. I love Frida, and I just wanted to do like my own interpretation of her. And I just really, really love Frida. And I like this one because I use different colored splattered, so it's kind of like a party. It's kind of like party colors. This one's kind of cool. It reminds me of H.R. Giger, however you say their name. But I like the machine kind of look and the different grayscale that I used. This one was a lot of fun to do. And again, these kinds of ones I like to do where it's just random, you know, rainbow colors, and then the black Sumi ink. You can tell that it's Sumi ink if you shine it in the light and it shines. It's probably Sumo ink or Sumi ink. Feathers. I think I used a pen here. Yeah, it looks like pen. And then I just went in with acrylic paint and a really small brush to do the dots. So I did all of the color first, and then I went in, I took the tape off, and then I went in to make this effect of it going off of the paper. It's pretty cool. And then I did this rose, and so for this rose, again, I went really light at first, and so I actually like the way it looked without the black, but it still looks cool with the black, but I guess I gave it my own little twist with the splatters and the black. But I mixed a little bit of yellow in here because the real rose looks kind of yellow. Sometimes these French roses will have some yellow tint in their petals. And then this really cool witchy eye. And I love tropical stuff, surfer kind of art. It's like one of my favorite kinds of art to do. And then this one's kind of cool. It's just like some of that art that you see that's just like in people's houses, in their kitchen. Yeah. And then I See You. It's something I did last year. And the California poppy. I just thought of that because, I don't know, I just really like drawing poppies. And I went in here, this was kind of an experiment. I went in here with white paint, and it was really difficult. Again, it's difficult to find like if y'all know of a good white that only uses a couple coats, let me know. Because this took like 3 coats to even make it like this. But it's fun. Like, this is another piece that I'm like, you know, I get into the zone and it's just fun and random. I really like doing stuff like this. And then the colors, you know, layering the colors and blending up. It's really fun. And this is a bigger kind of little postcard that I made. It's upside down. But I went in and made the waves so that the white pops out, and shading around stuff makes the white part pop out. So it kind of looks like 3-dimensional. I'm still learning how to do that. And then last but not least in this tour, oh no, I do have some drawings from Inktober. Enter the Stream, and this comes from just kind of like when there's a saying against the stream that the Buddha and some of my teachers use for kind of like we're going against the stream, like we're doing radical practices of meditation. And so I did like the stream waves because, you know, it gets kind of intense sometimes. And so I just felt like drawing waves that day and practicing my Japanese finger waves. And so this is the Raven of Inktober, Raven that I did. And actually, no, this wasn't Raven. This was Suit. So I think it was like day number 2 was Suit. And so I just I didn't have that much time to draw that day. So I needed to draw. That's what Inktober is all about, is not the competition, but just consistency. And then I did this. I think this one was Raven. Yeah, just put my own twist on it and did a little flower, kind of like a tattoo flower below it. And then this one was Spirit. This drawing I did, it took me about 2 hours. And this one was for Spirit. And one of my teachers did a class on Angulimala, which is a story from early Buddhism. And I don't know much about the story, so I don't want to butcher it, but yeah, you'll have to Google it and look it up if you want to know the story of Angulimala. And then this is the first day of Inktober. This was crystal, and so I did like a few crystals right there around the skull, and I didn't make crystals the focus of the picture, which was something that I did intentionally because I didn't want my picture to look like everybody else's, so I did something that I wanted to do. And then this one was what was the one for this? It was capsule or vessel. This one was called Vessel, and so I did like this vase with some smudge in there and some smoke coming out, kind of like tattoo style. And then this wasn't for Inktober, but this was something I did for a client, and it didn't work out, so it wasn't really the theme that they wanted, but I kept the drawing because I really liked how it came out. And yeah, that's it. That's it for my tour. I just wanted to check in with everybody and make sure you know I'm still alive. I'm kind of behind on my Inktober, and I just rolled my ankle today, so I think it's the perfect time for me to just sit and rest and maybe take out my pens. And even if it's not a masterpiece or a painting, you know, Inktober is not a competition. It's not about racing. It's just about consistency. And if you fall off, getting back on. And that's my inspirational quote for the day. I hope y'all are having a safe afternoon and be careful out there. Don't roll your ankle like me. Have a little bit more mindfulness when you're walking, and yeah, be safe out there.